Hey there, truth seekers. Welcome to episode 168 of the Bible Difficulties and Answers podcast. I'm your host, Lance Smith, and today we're diving into Exodus 25:18. If it's wrong to make graven images, why did God command Moses to make one? Picture this. You've just escaped slavery in Egypt. God's thundering down the Ten Commandments from a smoky mountain, and boom, the second commandment hits. No graven images, no idols. Keep your worship pure. But fast forward a few chapters, and God himself is handing Moses blueprints for the Ark of the Covenant, complete with instructions to craft 2 golden cherubim, winged angelic figures right on top. What gives? Is the Bible flipping the script on its own rules? Does this mean God's okay with art one day and against it the next? Or is there a deeper wisdom here that's been overlooked? Stick around because we're unpacking this apparent contradiction. And by the end, you'll see it's not a plot hole. It's a profound lesson in intent, symbolism, and staying true to the one true God. Let's start with a verse that's sparking all the debate. From the New Living Translation, Exodus 25:18 reads, "Make 2 cherubim from hammered gold and place them on the 2 ends of the atonement cover." Now, straight from the Big Book of Bible Difficulties by Norman Geisler and Thomas Howe, here's the core issue. God forbids carved images in Exodus 20, verse 4. You shall not make for yourself any carved image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above or that is in the earth beneath. So why does he then command Moses to hammer out golden cherubim for the ark? It seems like a heavenly no-no, right? But the book clarifies that the prohibition is all about idolatry, images made for worship, not decoration or symbolism. The cherubim weren't for bowing down to. They were tucked away in the Holy of Holies, where only the high priest entered once a year on the Day of Atonement, Leviticus 16. Plus, it's not a blanket art ban. It's against idols that replace God. These cherubim were angels, not God himself, and weren't meant for veneration. The Bible even uses metaphors for God like shepherd or father, but always qualified. Think Heavenly Father or Good Shepherd, John 10:11. Bottom line, idolatry, whether mental or metal, is the real target, and God's own designs don't cross that line. All right, folks, that's a solid starting point from the Big Book of Bible Difficulties, and it's begging for a deeper dive. You know me, I love turning these Bible brain teasers into something relatable, like untangling a family recipe that's been misread for generations. Imagine your grandma's rule: no sweets before dinner, but then she bakes cookies for the family gathering. It's not a contradiction. It's about timing, purpose, and who's in charge. God's second commandment is that kind of rule, shielding against the sweet poison of idolatry while allowing symbolic cookies in his sacred space. So let's grab our biblical archaeology shovels and dig into context, Jewish insights, historical finds, and prophetic zingers, pulling from a treasure trove of sources to see how all this clicks without a glitch. First, let's zero in on Exodus 20, verses 4 and 5. You must not make for yourself an idol of any kind or an image of anything in the heavens or on the earth or in the sea. You must not bow down to them or worship them, for I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God. Catch that? For yourself flags personal idolatry, and bow down or worship locks in the intent. This wasn't a total art ban. It was a firewall against the pagan chaos around Israel. Think Egypt, where they had just escaped. Gods like Ra as falcons, Anubis as jackals, statues fed and paraded like divine pets. God saying, not here. Worship me alone, invisible and infinite. The cherubim, they're God's design, not Israel's side hustle. Crafted for the ark, his portable throne, they're like fancy armrests, not the ruler himself. As 1 Samuel 4:4 puts it, God is enthroned between the cherubim. They point to his glory, not pretend to be it. Here's a modern spin to chew on. It's like a no photos rule at a VIP concert to stop bootlegs. But the band hands out official posters. The cherubim are those posters, authorized gear that amps up the vibe without stealing the show. Bible Hub scholars nail this, saying the cherubim were fashioned at God's explicit command as symbols in his worship system, not objects of it. No bowing, no serving, just a heavenly heads up. Now, let's pivot to Jewish tradition with Carl S. Ehrlich's essay, Make Yourself No Graven Image, the Second Commandment in Judaism. Ehrlich, a York University scholar, digs into the 613 commandments with the 10 words, not commandments, that's the Christian twist, as the covenant's heartbeat. Synagogues worldwide flaunt those rounded top tablets, 5 commands each, mirroring the full Torah. The second commandment, Judaism weaves it uniquely. Exodus 20, verse 2, I am the Lord your God who rescued you from the land of Egypt, is the first, a redemption rally cry. Then, 20, verse 3, you must not have any other God but me, launches the second, rolling into the no images ban. That's 20 verses 4 to 6. This links polytheism with idolatry. Any other God is a carved impostor. Ehrlich highlights this not about denying other gods' existence, but dismissing what pagans call gods. Think Isaiah 37:19's not gods. It's like God saying, skip the knockoff menu. My feast's the only one that counts. Veritas Domain backs this, noting that the ban targets idolatry's purpose, while cherubim serve a higher, non-idolatrous call. Now let's get hands-on with biblical proof that art's fine when God says so. Moses, still fuming from the golden calf fiasco, that's Exodus 32, and that's pure idolatry, crafts a bronze serpent for healing bites. This is Numbers 21, 8-9. It works until folks idolize it later, prompting Hezekiah to smash it. We read that in 2 Kings 18:4. Symbols? Great. Idolatry? Nope. The tabernacle's Bezalel gets a divine spirit of skill for the ark. We read that in Exodus 31:3. And Solomon's temple dazzles with pomegranates, oxen, lions, cherubim, and palms. That's 1 Kings 6-7. No flack for the decor, just for foreign shrines, as we read in 1 Kings 11. Dave Armstrong on Pantheos sharpens the golden calf versus cherubim showdown. The calf was a molten god the people worshipped, sparking God's wrath. Cherubim, never gods. God appears between them in a cloud. Armstrong quips, God said that he appeared between their wings in a cloud, not as figures. Intense the game changer. Archaeology adds flair. Ehrlich flags digs with animal seals, Jerusalem figurines, Samaria's ivory stash, Kuntalet Ajarud's possible Yahweh sketch, and Arad's pillar temple. Vibrant art till Hezekiah and Josiah's reforms, that's late 8th to 7th century BC, crushed idols amid prophetic roars. Greenberg notes, temple kept cherubs, and critter decor as God's court reps. Now, let's zoom into those cherubim with a bit of fun. Forget chubby cherubs. They're Eden's sword-swinging guards. That's Genesis 3:24. On the ark, their wings meet over the mercy seat for atonement, Exodus 25:20, with duplicates on curtains and temple giants, which we read in Kings 6:23-28. The Torah.com suggests they're from Akkadian Cherubim. These are blessing beings, maybe bull-like with wings as a protective canopy. Think Egyptian throne vibes. Talmudic takes, Rashi sees child faces, or Bahaya, a male-female pair, but all agree they're not idols, just divine signposts. Cambridge calls them meta-signs of transcendence, their gazes shifting with Israel's obedience, facing in harmony, turning in discord, hidden in the smoky holy of holies. That vacancy between the cherubim is the correct representation of transcendence, they say, keeping God's mystery front and center. Catholic Stand chimes in. The ban's on worship, not art. Jesus as image of the invisible God, which we see in Colossians 1:15, later allows depictions, but cherubim were always reminders, not rivals. Trivial devotion cracks me up. Those Renaissance chubby-winged boys come from Rashi's mix-up. They're hybrid guards, like Near Eastern Ayamasu, maybe 904 pounds of gold hollowed out. Vague details spark creativity, but they're throne bearers, showing God's on the move. Okay, let's talk about a wild chapter in Jewish history, post-exile, when Greek culture crashed the party with what I'll call Hellenistic drama. Should they blend in with the fancy Greek art or dig in their heels against God's no idol stance? Well, enter the Maccabees. They smashed those pagan statues, but, plot twist, ended up ruling a kingdom with a Greek flair. Karl Ehrlich, nodding to Joseph Gutmann, frames it as a showdown. Jewish beauty of holiness versus Greek holiness of beauty. Yet synagogues today, they're rocking Decalogue art like it's no big deal. Proof symbols beat idols every time. Martin Buber calls Jews ear people, but that's old news. Art was thriving without turning into idol worship. And get this, the Decalogue gets read thrice a year, twice weekly, once at Shavuot, to skip daily recitals and dodge some sectarian fuss. Ashkenazim pops up to stand, Sephardim chill to sit, treating all 613 commands as equals. Even Gematria jumps in, leaking Torah 611 to the first two direct commands, God's own voice laying down the monotheism law loud and clear. So, back to our question. Why cherubim if images are banned? It's simple. God's rule targets self-made idols, not his handcrafted symbols. The golden calf flopped. The cherubim soar as holy pointers. Skeptics see a clash, but intent's king. Idols derail, symbols direct. It's like traffic laws letting ambulances speed. God's the authority, and his designs glorify him, not replace him. So we've gold hammered this. No hypocrisy, just holy smarts. So let's keep questioning. That's it for episode 168, folks. Join me next Friday when we tackle Exodus 31:18. Does God have fingers? Hit up our Facebook page. Shoot us an email at BibleDifficultiesAndAnswers@gmail.com or drop a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or Podbean. All our episodes are waiting at BibleDifficultiesAndAnswers.podbean.com. So keep digging, keep questioning, and keep seeking the truth. I'm Lance Smith, wishing you good luck, good health, and God bless. So long, everybody.